sir?
Very good. Happy to see you.
Nice to see you. Listen, I am so fucking excited to see this movie. If I had spoken to someone who saw it, they were very enthusiastic. So I cannot wait. One of the things, though, about alien movies, as you know, is the death scenes. I know that you have this big cast. Maybe one of them's going to survive. Maybe. So what is it like as the co-writer and director trying to come up with like iconic, cool death scenes?
Look, I will argue, like Quentin said one, I will reject your hypothesis. I would say that because if you think about the first movie, most of the kills happen off camera. You don't see them. You don't see a lot of death. They cut right away, right? But you know how it will go down. But the alien is so interesting. You rarely see the alien, the xenomorph, actually murdering someone. You see the inner mouth coming out, boom, headshot, right? But then you don't really see it. You just really figure out a way to escape it. I can think of a few, right? But usually the kind of creature gets to you and they cut away. Gets to you and cut away. Because people don't know. Do they eat you? How they kill you? And that's what's great about it, that you really don't know and you rarely see it. There's other monsters that you know exactly the way they kill you. The xenomorph is really tricky. I mean, I know it will do the inner mouth in your skull thing, that for sure. But then there's other ways that is always better in your head. So everybody has a different idea of what it is. So sometimes, all this been said, I guess after so many movies, it got to a point that we probably have to show what the alien does to you. And we're probably doing this movie without spoiling it. We actually got there and we show a few times what the xenomorph does to people when it actually gets to you and you keep rolling and you keep showing it. Right?
And do you know how I know it happens in this movie? Yeah. Because you're directing it. And I know the way your mind works, and I know you want to show it.
That's good.
You know what I mean? But one of the things, though, is how did you decide on the characters that you wanted to portray in this, and making all of them dynamic and three-dimensional when you obviously have limited screen time?
Well, yeah, that's the thing here. You never want to. It's something I learned making other horror movies. Like, as a writer-director, it's like I tell on Evil Dead and Don't Breathe. There was all this scene about the characters that we wrote because we want to know more about them. They all got cut out. They all got cut out. They never made it to the final cut because horror, people want to get scared and they want to get to horror and they want to get to the next kill. And once you enter that roller coaster, it's really hard to stop it, to navel gazing about who am I? And if you're really purist in a way, on the first film, which is funny because you make these films and everybody goes, I hope they have great characters and I hope really flesh them out. On the first film, you don't know who anybody is. You don't know what the fuck you barely know their names. That's it. You don't know where they're from, what they like, what they hope in life. Who loves who. There was intentions in the scripts of Alien of certain relationships that were among them. There never was any time to do it because I think if you're doing it right and you're effective, there's not a lot of time for that. All that being said, I think definitely audiences want definitely a lot more from the stories, and I think we have enough time here because it's quite a slow burn. The structure is very similar to Aliens in a way, where it really takes a while to really get to the horror. But I think by the time you get there, you're invested in those characters, you want them to succeed, and that's what makes it so heartbreaking, when unfortunately, probably a lot of them,
most of them
will find a terrible ending.
I am a huge fan of IMAX, and I'm curious, talk a little bit about the ratio. What is it worth? Is this one of these you really do want to see in IMAX? Can you just talk about the ratio?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we didn't want to make IMAX should be like, well, you can see it on IMAX and the screen is bigger. We wanted it to be a different experience, and so for the IMAX version, we went the full aperture. We shot it in cameras that were IMAX certified, and they were almost 4:3. When you have a lot of top and a lot of bottom. So all the other versions, they're just your classic aspect ratio for film. But here is if you go to IMAX, you just get that massive screen and you get more of the movie, actually, more of the top and bottom. So you get to see a lot more things, and it's really gorgeous to see. I mean, nothing beats that IMAX experience. So unfortunately, not everybody's as lucky to have an IMAX close to their home, but if they do, they should definitely check it out on IMAX.
I am so happy I will be seeing it in IMAX for the first time. I love talking about editing, as you know. So I don't know actually how long the movie is, but did you have like a way longer first cut? What did you end up cutting out like 30 minutes? Like, how did that all go?
The first version was probably 2 hours, 2 hours 15, I believe, 2 hours 10. Then Then the process that I go through, that I go in every movie is the same. So I do the first version of the cut, and then I go, okay, now let's take everything I don't need to tell the story, and you go medieval on the cut. You just butcher everything. You take everything out, and that cut was reduced to an hour and a half. And this is what you do have to get there. You realize you destroy the movie, and you made it too short. And then you do the right process, which is the process not of deduction, not to subtract what you don't need, but to add what you must have. So then you start looking at it as, what do I miss here? That has to be in there. Well, what the other thing, we cannot lose that. You bring it back. But then that process is a way better process for the film. And once we did that, we had it, and we ended up at almost 2 hours.
So you basically have 15 minutes that you cut out of the film.
We don't, but we really, I don't think we cut out. Actually, I was cutting for the physical release of the movie. I was doing the deleted scenes, and I wanted to make sure there was enough of deleted scenes. There are a lot of extras, and there's a lot of deleted scenes, but they're not really technically deleted. I think there might be a couple deleted scenes, but most of it they're extended versions. What I end up doing is, like, you take the scene and you want this movie to be lean and mean, right? My movies always trying to make it as lean and mean as they can, and so you just compress it. You manage to make sure that there's no fat there, and it's as effective as it can be. So the story is probably exactly the same story. If you compare, if someone was 1 hour 15 and you watched the 2 hour 15 and someone else watched the 2 hours, you couldn't find the differences by talking about it. But if you look at it, you'll see that things are, just move quickly in some parts, I guess.
Yeah, I'm out of time, but can I sneak in one last thing?
Yeah, let's just stick two. Yeah, I could wait that way. So,
Yeah,
two more.
So
It's up to me. Don't look at her.
One of the things that I'm so excited about is the fact that you're doing practical and miniatures, and you're like old school filmmaking. Can you talk about why that was so important for you, and which shot or sequence, are you just so excited for people to see because it just looks real?
Yeah, I mean, I knew on day one there was going to be practical effects, and that's what I do, right? That's what I do on Evil Dead. Like, when everybody was doing CG gore all over, I was like, I'm not doing any of that. I'll go do the practical stuff. Same here. So I knew from the get-go that I was going to do it old school way. That's the easy part to say it. The do it is the hard part. It's not even the hard part to bring the right team. You got to do it right, to build the creatures and make them look amazing. The hard part is make it look amazing in camera, so it doesn't get replaced by CG in post, like happens a lot of time. A lot of people have the right intentions, and they don't manage to shoot them well, and it doesn't work. And that's the best compliment I got from the Legacy guys that build most of the creatures. It was like, thank God you figure out a way to shoot them that they look effective, and you can keep them in the movie. But the whole thing is a big collaboration of everybody that's the best of the best. It's the old school guys that brought all these practical effects. ILM and Weta doing incredible CG, and there's invisibles in a place that you will never see it. That is the right way to do it. But that was the challenge, and hopefully you feel that we succeed. As far as what's the scene, there's many. I think one of my favorite, because it's all pure old school, puppeteering, is a chest burster. That was just a joy to see happening. The complexity of it is like 9 people puppeteering that thing. It takes so much time and love and effort to do it right. But I'm super proud of that scene.
My last thing, because they're going to kill me. Do you prefer? This is like the Star Wars Empire question.
Yeah.
Do you prefer Aliens, or Aliens like the extended cut?
I mean, it's hard. It's like someone asked me actually a couple of interviews ago, because Ridley asked yesterday to rank them, right? Which is a little bit in the panel. Ridley showed up and asked me to rank all the Alien movies, and I think there's two different questions. There are different questions. One thing is, what is the best one, and the other question is, what's your favorite? So might not have the same answer. Like, if you ask me what's the best Back to the Future movie, 1. What's your favorite? I'm gonna say 2. So I guess it's similar here. I think which is the best one? Alien, which is my favorite, but the one that has place in my heart, probably Aliens, because of a generational thing that I saw it first.
Sure. There's no wrong answer with Alien and Aliens. On that note, cannot wait to see the film.
Thank you.
Good luck with the rest of your speed dating.
Thank you.